Richard Bruce here again with another update to the adventures of Anna, my friend, traveling abroad, and her adventures at the Buddhist monastery in Thailand. This is a transcribe of Mr. Kun Pi, who is a Thai ex-monk and lawyer and friend to Miss Anna. And so you understand, this is of course a second language for him, English, so it's going to be a little bit choppy in some areas. I've done the best that I can to clarify it, but I actually find it to be quite effective. And so I'm going to get right into it, starting with this update. To me, Master Richard Ka, this letter is about what happened with Monk Tong. Oh, Master Richard Ka, I am happy that this long twice returned package finally arrived to you. No, I never looked in content because it was Miss Package and not mine. So he calls Anna Miss, so you understand. I am sorry, but I myself didn't know what was inside. I give previous return box to DHL and ask to ship it. I believe only people in custom should see or randomly check what was inside box. Oh, it is beautiful painting. She draw it? It look like you, Master Richard. Only little sad eyes, but surely it is you. She definitely had talent. She liked to draw. So talking about Anna. Russian doll, it is red thing? It looks cute and funny. Master Richard, I think she don't need anything here. She look happy for what she had. She using dictaphone from Mr. Jones. She like to sit and speak by herself to dictaphone. Notice that Mr. Jones, once again, is the law enforcement agent that was also a friend of Miss Anna, and they were doing great work rescuing abused children and families. Miss wearing simple orange monk robe, and she seems not bothered by it. I asked my master, what if Miss Jeurua, and by the way, Jeurua is a name that master monk of the High Temple gave to Anna. Master said she need read and listen all what in sacred books was written. Master said she is only like newborn, need to learn. Master asked when next anime will be. Okay, let me just explain it. So here I am, Richard Bruce, Anime Rick. I made a joke at the end of one of my emails for the master to make a air-conditioned room and buy a giant big screen 82-inch OLED TV and a disc player to watch anime. And so I just said that as a joke, and then it turns out he ended up wanting to watch an anime, and maybe Mr. Kun Pi told him that this was something that I asked him to do. So he ended up watching an anime, Ergo Proxy, and he liked it so much he watched it twice, and he loved it and wanted to know more. And then, and this is highly unusual, friends. I know this is going to seem like I've had some people tell me they don't believe this because this does not match what we understand about Buddhist monasteries and their sacred tradition. But remember, this is an elder who received a dream when he was 12 to rebuild a Buddhist temple up on the mountain and to wait for the princess. And then he received a second dream just recently to rescue her out of the hospital when she was attacked by Satan and his demons and was left for dead in a river with her arm stuck to a wall for 6 days. Okay, and he received a dream to go get her out, and Master Monk went there. He's an old man, I would say 70s, 80s easily, if not older. And he went with these monks and they got her out of the hospital, and I was so grateful that he did, because I also had a sense of danger in that place because Satan owns most of the major institutions, including medical centers, making sure that he owns and controls it, and she could be more easily attacked there. My master still wear simple orange robe, but he's a master of like 600 plus. I think it's going up to 800 monks now because there's more and more joining his High Temple, which God gave him a dream to rebuild. And people thought he was crazy, but as he started doing it as a young man, more and more people joined him, and he's been there all this time until now, waiting for the princess. And it looks like she's arrived. Check it out. My master still wears simple orange robe. I asked if Miss also wearing simple orange robe, why he not put on his golden one. My master said it is hers, so he put his golden robe on Anna, if you can believe it. My master said it is hers, and it is robe a witness. It has her blood on it from when she left to bargain with evil master. Evil master is Satan. We will preserve it. We also ask her to give each of us masters, so there's several masters there at the High Temple, something what belonged to her for future generations. She had almost nothing on her, but she gave her simple earnings and her little chain from her neck, but you don't want to give her silver bullet from her wrist, because she says it was done for her by wise shaman of indigenous peoples from deep north, and it helped her to save her life. But she give us one of her hair instead. I asked Master, who is Miss Jeurua now? Once again, Jeurua is the name, is an additional name that Master of the High Temple, Master Monk, the elderly gentleman, gave to my friend Anna traveling abroad. And she was working and living in Thailand when all this happened to her, and she became blind when she was attacked by Satan by the river. And there's some footage of her rising in the air, a homeless man running at them, and then the footage cuts out and Anna was lost, and finally she was found after several days. But the homeless man that came running at her was found dead by the river, and she was found floating in the river, stuck on the side. Her wrist was stuck to a side wall, and she was in that river waiting for 6 days to be rescued. Master said, she is what she is. We don't have an answer. We never had a witness. Nothing like this. And now it is time for a sip of tea. I said, but all monks believe Miss is truly reincarnation of Buddha. Master was thinking and loudly asked all come together. So he's gathering all the people there. And it's a lot of people, okay? All monks stop their doing and come together. All other masters stop reading and come to my master. My master called Jeurua, and she run to him from near lake. She run and come and kiss his cheek. He became red. She looked at all monks in front of her, and they all stayed on their knees without order. My master said, who you think this newborn is? He was speaking Thai, but misunderstand him. She said in English, I don't know, but he understand her. My master don't speak English, and Miss don't know Thai in perfect, but they understand each other somehow. And just for a note, Miss Anna, my friend of Russian descent, she speaks languages very easily and very well. Nothing like any kind of talent I have. She can speak English so well, it's amazing. But heavy Russian accent, and sometimes I can't understand her because I have trouble hearing sometimes. What people say, like if people speak fast, sometimes I can't hear, so sometimes I can't hear. But it's amazing to me how awesome she is that she can speak so well and understands everything I'm saying, even if I speak quickly. It's just amazing. Master said to all monks, "This young golden soul is not Buddha." And monks were shocked and start talking. Master said, "Order! I am your master. I am authority here, and I tell you all, this miracle is not Buddha. She is only simple woman. Stand up now and do your job as normal." A few stood up. Others stayed on their knees. And they did that because they fear that she's the reincarnation of Buddha. And he's trying to explain to them that she's not. Master said, "Speak why you disobey my command." Monks were not sure and confused, but one started talking. He said, "I am sorry, my master, but you truly go blind. We all see what she is. She is a god. She is Buddha." Okay, because they all saw her, the episode I told you, when she disappeared for a week. Then she reappeared, floating in the air, glowing, with light shining out of her eyes, and yelled with like this voice of God thundering. It was mega loud, like 10 megaphones is what Kunpi was saying. And then she stopped Mr. Jones from ending his life and yelled at him, "How dare you take what is mine?" And then she came down to the ground. All the monks that were there saw, hundreds of monks, like I said, like 700-800 monks that were there, and they all just they were all bowed down before because she was hovering in the air, and they're thinking that she's a god. And he's trying, and Master Monk here is trying to correct the situation. Okay. So that one monk just said, "She is a god. She is a Buddha." Master said, "I would order to whip all who disobey my command." Few monks stand up and left to work. Others stay on their knees. Another monk said, "Master bid us with whip, but we all know what she is." My master said, "I would order to starve you for a week." Few monks stand up and left to do their work. Others stay. Another monk said, "You can order it, master, but we all witness what she is." My master looked at Miss, and she shook her head in a yes sign. My master smiled and said, "There is no authority bigger than God. I am not voice of all of you. You decide yourself of what is truth and who was not afraid of cruel punishment for your beliefs. I train your hearts well that you can stand up for yourself and your own truth and speak from your hearts. All who stand up, all who was afraid of punishment for their body, you not listening with your heart well, take off your robes and leave." So that's, if you take off your robe and leave, that's you quit being a monk. "As here no place for weak who worry for their body." Monks who stand up were so upset. They screamed, "Please, please, master, we don't want to leave." My master said, "Let Jeurua decide." She looked at master and was not sure what to say, but master pushed her in front. All was looking at her. Monks who were banned screamed, "Mercy, mercy!" She was blind, but looked in their direction. She said in English, "I see your confusion. You were brave and honest to choose to stay here to find yourself, but you foolishly believe that authority of a man, even wise man, is order to you all. You not belong here, as your authority should be only God, not a man and not a woman. Leave, as you were good men, but deaf men. In the end will stay only best of you, only open-hearted and open-minded. Leave now." Monks who was banned was unhappy. Some took their robes and quietly left. Some start screaming bad things. She was not moving. She was looking at their direction. Finally, one monk was so upset, he grabbed a long knife and put his hand to throw it to her. But suddenly someone jumped on him from behind. This monk still threw the knife, but it was done when they both were falling down to the ground. Knife fly and cut Miss' right arm near her shoulder. She looked at her arm. I think she was not feeling pain, and looked at them both. It was Jones who jumped to that monk. Now Jones was biting this monk badly. I did not know Jones was awake. All was shocked. She screamed, "Stop!" But Jones didn't stop. She run to them. All monks were still in shock. She run to them and push Jones away from monk he was biting on the floor. She looked at him and give him her hand so this monk could stand up. Same hand he throw knife and cut her. He grab her hand and stand up. He looked at her with anger. He said she is a bitch and it is her fault he was banned from the monastery. He screamed in Thai and she was only looking at him. Remember, she's blind. He was angry and his nose bloody because Jones bit him. He grabbed her neck and tried to strangle her. All tried to rush them, but she raised her arm to all to stop, and we stopped. She suddenly hold him and stay very close to his face. His arms were still on her neck, and she embraced him tight. He suddenly cried and sit on his knees, and released her neck. She put her arm to his head, and monk was crying. We were all shocked by it. Then he stand up and looked at her face. He grabbed her face and kissed her. She said, "I am sorry." He makes step back. He put his arm to her hand where he cut with throwing knife. Arm was bleeding. He said, "I am sorry." He bowed to her, take off his robe, and left. All were speechless. Jones come to her. He checked her neck. It start to have bruises. He checked her arm and said, "Need to stitch." He was very calm, but she was crying. He wiped her tears and said, "Stop it. You like a girl. You know you don't feel pain." Don't know why he said that. She shake her head. He said, "Good." "You broke your promise, Anna," he said. "It is very disappointed. You give me your word and take it back." He was angry but tried to control himself. Remember, Mr. Jones is the law enforcement agent, and incidentally, he's a captain. She only said, "I am sorry." He shake his head. He said, "You just like jump in danger, don't you?" She put her head down. He asked, needle and thread. Monks give him. I saw he was not happy that Miss put her arm to his face and she make him sleep. He was not happy at all. He pour his whiskey to her arm. She sound with pain. He said, "Really?" And she get quiet, and he start to suture the wound. She definitely feels pain, but try to stay quiet. He only said, "Good. Now you will know it is to broke a promise." So he's apparently saying she broke a promise. Yes, he was very angry. He finished and poured more whiskey on the stitches. She was quiet. He drank from bottle. He gave her bottle and she drinks too. He was looking at her and was shaking his head. He said, "You must be more careful, Anna." She looked at him and said, "Thank you." He said, "Go now. You should relax or sleep. Go." He was angry with all that situation, and she left. Monks help her go to her chambers. My master comes to Jones and said, "Thank you." Jones was drinking from bottle and shake his head only. He think and ask, "How long can she live? Everyone attacking her, even your own men." Master said, "I don't know." And Jones continued drinking. End of email. Notice these events and emails are sent in October 2019. Next communication. Tong comes to gate with child. Tong is the monk who threw the blade at Anna, and she dodged, but it hit her arm and cut her arm, and Mr. Jones sewed it up for her. October 12th, 2019. This is from Kunpi. Master Richard, Ka, and by the way, Ka is a respectful statement. A statement of respect, but it's probably more complicated than that, I'm not sure. Miss was giving a lecture to monks about some Song of Songs in the Bible, so Song of Solomon. I was not here when Miss was asking question about it, but today she answer, and monks can't figure it out, and Miss start to explain it very well, and even I understand it. Jones was translating. So I was writing all Miss was saying. I will wrote you Master Richard tomorrow. It is very beautiful story about God having two faces, man and a woman. It is beautiful. All of them loved it. So she's reading to all these monks, okay, hundreds of monks at a Buddhist monastery, and they want to hear these stories out of the Bible. And it's all voluntary. But then this happened. This night we heard loud noise. Someone was banging at the gates. Monks bring torches and make lights. Miss Anna comes out in a long white sleeping silk dress she was. She come to the gates and ordered open it. Miss said, it is for me. Monks open gates. There was staying monk who throw knife at Miss and tried to strangle her from frustration. He was holding a child in his hands. Behind him was two women who were crying and sobbing. Miss stepped outside. Monk tell her, Jeurua, save this child. Remember, Jeurua is the name that Master Monk gave to Miss Anna. But she don't understand his speech. Jones was behind her with a short blade in his arms. Oh my God, who is Jones? Assassin or something? Jones translated to her into English. She raised her hand and touched face of this monk. She put her hand down and touched a child. She looked at Monk and asked him, why is she not breathing? Jones translate. Monk said, save her, Jeurua. Jones translates. Miss turned around and said, bring her in. Women dirty, she said. Too many demons within them. They will stay outside. Take off your clothes as it is no place for it in here, she said. Jones take a child and Monk quickly undress. He took child back and comes in. The gates were closed. The gates were closed. Women, I think mother and grandmother stayed outside. They start beating to the gate and scream and cry. So this is outside the gates of the monastery. Miss was walking to the temple. She go up to the steps and stop. Ex-monk with child was following her. He stopped naked, and she showed him by her hand to put child on the floor. It was the same place where Jones put her to make electricity to make her heart running, and same place she disappeared. Child was on the floor. Monk asked, what should I do now? Jones translates. Miss Anna said nothing. Stay with all. Jones translated, but he added, piece of shit on the end, because he was very upset that this monk tried to kill Miss with knife and then tried to strangle her. Monk left and stayed naked with others. No one was talking with him. Miss stay on her knees and put her arms on the child. She moved it over the child. She said, she is dying. She looked at my master. He was staying behind her. She tell him, help me. Master answered her, Jeurua, I am only a witness. I would not be intervening. I only a witness. He said also, Jeurua, you can't take something what belonged to death already. Miss understand my master perfectly. I just understand they both understand each other without understanding each other's languages. Miss asked, but I need you. I can't do it myself. Master come to her and said, Jeurua, you can't take something what belonged to death. Miss looked at Jones. She pointed at him and said, what is him then? Master think for a second and said, that is your miracle, Jeurua. She looked at child. She put her hands on the child. She closed her eyes. My master put his hand on her shoulder and stopped her. He said, Jeurua, you can't go there again. You have not your golden skin. You not ready. You blind now. You will be lost in darkness. Miss said, help me and come with me. Master makes step back, and I said, Jeurua, I can't. I am only a witness. Why this child important for you? Child not important, but you are. She looked at him and said, she is pure. I protested them. She more important than me, you old fool. Who you think I am? How dare you tell me who important and who not? Miss was angry. And strong wind hit our monastery. And we start hearing thunder far away. Master stay on his knees and begged her and said, forgive me, Jeurua. I don't understand. Child or you, I would choose you. You are a miracle. You are important. Your destiny, and Miss start to speak loud and with anger. Destiny? A miracle? Important? Who you think I am? How dare you choose me? And step back now, witness. Master said, Jeurua, but you would die. She said, so I die trying, and will be free. Step back now, witness. Master stepped back. Miss closed her eyes. She put her hands on the child. She stays like this for a long time, and all monks sit on their knees. We heard only this 2 women scream outside and begging to save their child, and strong wind was. We start to hear the ravens. They were coming again, and they sit all over the gates. It start to be so loud. Crows was so loud. It was so loud. Miss dog comes out and come to Miss and lay down near her and not moving. My master sit on his knees, and I think he was crying. Miss was sitting with her eyes closed and not moving. Her nose start to bleed. Jones tried to run to her, but my master give a hand sign and monks stopped him. Jones screamed, order her to stop. My master answered, she have no reason to live. He never told her. Jones was unsure, and I was unsure. She have no reason to live. Who never told her what? Jones fight his freedom and run to master and sit on his knees. I run behind him. Jones said, could you stopped her? Master sadly, how can I stop north wind? Jones asked again, what could be done? Master said, give her reason to live. Jones was so unsure. I was more unsure. Jones was so unsure. I was more unsure. Jones comes to her and sit on his knees in front of her near the child, and he gently takes her face up. I saw Miss' nose was bleeding and blood was coming from her mouth a little. Jones touched her shoulder. It should not be hot like last time. He asked her nicely to come back, please, but she was sitting and she was not here. I was worried if Jones will lose his temper and he will hit her cheek and make her awake, but he didn't. He was careful this time. He say something to her ear, and he was looking if she can awake, but she didn't. He stand up and looked at this naked now ex-monk. He screamed, why you bring this child? Ex-monk said, this child is very good and gifted. Child was sick, and we all saw that Jeurua is godlike. I thought she could save her. Jones tell him, she die and you die slowly. in pain. Ex-monk said, "God like golden woman can't die. I accept what you say, old wolf." Jones was still angry. He sit in front of her only on the floor where all monks were. Their steps and to this area into the temple is higher than the floor level. She was sitting with her arms on the child, like on a pedestal. Jones was sitting and looking at her, and he was waiting, and he was calm. A lot of time passes. Many monks fell in sleep. It was windy. Ravens were screaming. I said to my master, "The ravens." Master said, "They are witnesses, spying. They are the eyes of the evil master, Satan." He looking now too. Miss Anna was beautiful in her very long white silk dress, and her sun-like, slightly curly hair was moving because of the wind. Her hands were on the child, and nothing happened. And then Miss opened her eyes and make a big, deep breath, and same time little child make a big, deep breath. Miss looked at her hands and not sure what it was. Miss stand up in silence and looked at all of us. She looked at ravens for a second, and they immediately start flying away. Miss turned away from them and raised her hand at their direction, and what ravens not have time to fly away immediately fall dead. Miss was looking at all, and she looked at her hands and raised them to the night sky. A wind was strong, and immediately big lightning hit the sky and loud thunder. It was very close and very bright. We all needed a few seconds to get used to our eyes to the darkness again. I tried to look, and we saw Miss was lying down, far from where she was a second before. My master was on his knees and head to the floor. All monks were not understand what just happened. Only Jones and this ex-monk was staying upright and looking at her all the time, like they was not scared. Nothing was happening, until little child starts standing up on her feet. Child looked at us and I think was scared. Child start crying. No one knew what to do. Naked ex-monk come to child and check on her. He smiled. Then he go to Miss and turn her around and start checking on her. But Jones was already behind him. He pushed this ex-monk away and started checking on her himself. I come to them too. Miss was awake and scared and crawl to her back to the wall. She was lost. She said, "What happening to me?" Jones helped her to stand up. She find my hand and embraced me. She was shocked, I think. She asked me, "P, what happening to me?" I hold her and said, "Honestly, I don't know." She calmed down. Naked ex-monk was take crying child to his hands. Miss touched child and smiled. She looked at my master and said, "Did she belong to death now?" But my master was speechless. He still was sitting on his knees and looked in disbelief. Miss was walking away very slowly and weak. I was carrying her to her shoulder. Ex-monk with child was behind her. Jones was behind him. Miss comes to the gate and monks open it. Two women run to ex-monk and take their healthy baby. Monk quickly put on his clothes and fall to Miss' legs. Miss makes step back and ask him to stand up. Ex-monk had tears on his face. Miss was weak. She put her hands on him and said, "Do not talk of me. Talk of God and their glory. I am no one." And she turned and walked away. I saw ex-monk was staying there and looking to her. The gates were closed. Jones helped her and put her to her chambers. I stayed outside. I am never saw anything like this, Master Richard. I am not sure what to do with it. October 12th, 2019. Tong waits by gates. Today, people came to the monastery. Anna was outside already. We come near gates, and they said, "People bring offerings and flowers to one who saved this child." Master Old Monk opens the gates, but Anna hide behind this big door. She didn't want to be seen by people. She asked me to translate. Master Old Monk said, "Why they come?" People said they heard a miracle happened. They bring offerings, and they bring more people who wanted to be healed. Anna didn't come out. She was still staying behind the door. Master said, "Here no place for miracles. Miracles should happen in our hearts with acceptance of God." People were disappointed. This guy who bring child was there too. He come close to me and apologized for his actions with Anna. He also said he was not one who talked about her. He said that he understand her and never talk about her. He asked me to ask her if he can return because he wants to serve her. I quickly asked her and translated it. She was staying right behind the door. She was upset. She said he can't serve her, and she is no one at all. She said that lesson he not learn. He must serve God and do God-loving things. She also said that this people wanted miracles now, when miracles can be done only by God and Jesus Christ. This man asked to teach him. Anna says that once his arm hold a weapon, how can she trust him now? This man apologized and said he will not leave until she decides to allow him to learn and be near her. She said that he will suffer to his flesh near those closed gates. This man said, "Be it then, if I must suffer, I would," he said. Master Old Monk ordered to close the gates. Anna was upset seriously. She said, "I only help one child and they all come in hope to find a miracle. Why do they look for miracles? Why do they not looking for God?" I didn't know what to say to her. She and Old Monk left to study. I checked on this man. Surely he was sitting alone near closed gates. I thought of what this old wise monk said, that she have no reason to live, and that he never told her. I thought and thought. Reason to live, it is strange, but who is he who never told her, and what exactly? You think it is Satan? He never told her something? But how can it be reason to live? I am a little lost here. I have no idea. Okay, this was actually from Mr. Jones, an email from Mr. Jones. Okay, so here's another email from Mr. Jones. Japanese crab, that is funny. I am really pleased to meet you too. Stork Richard. I called myself a stork. Okay, I would not scream or be mad about your public video. We agreed before. You very nicely explained to me that you would do or say anything what you feel like and at any time. Remember, and I agree. I liked your video actually. You have big talent to it. And you probably asked her if she don't mind to be known. Haha, I would always ask it. And thank you for gently handling this matter. Of course, I should change her name and send her out of the country to some Ethiopia or shithole like this, but it is okay. No, seriously, thank you. It was difficult, very difficult time. I still do not understand what is going on to her. But I asked her, and I was very surprised. I think she, never dated a man. I mean, never, I was shocked, honestly. I was thinking, P never had any woman, and his personal life is 0. She never dated anyone, and her personal life is 0. Well, me, I had women before, but my personal life is 0. And you, Richard, have no idea, but something telling me you have personal life is 0 as well. Correct. As far as relationships goes. How strange is it? P, he never slept with a woman. Well, she, I think she too, because she is very naive if I ask her. Well, how odd is it that 4 different people from 4 different countries somehow come together, and all four in 2019 do not have personal life? P, Ada, me, and you. Thailand, Russia, and USA. Okay, so I'm going to exclude the country for Mr. Jones for his security purposes. It is a pattern, obviously, only to what? It is a sign to improvement, or sign to change our way of loneliness? Loneliness? I was thinking about that. I also want her to be happy, but I see she has a lot of rough times before. Well, and now too. She presents herself very nicely, being blind. I think I would shoot myself if that happened to me, honestly. I can't imagine being as useless as blind. A tragedy. Richard, she not exactly running into hands with need to cry and attention seeking, like any other normal woman would do million times already. She actually very different from other women behavior, and it is strange to me. I seriously don't know how to comfort her. She talk highly about you, but she don't understand how you feel. I mean, even I understand, but she not. And P2, of course. Not sure what he means there. I don't know nothing about you is her man or don't want to be her man. It is no matter now. You both would definitely decide when you will meet each other, who is or not. But what is important to you to understand, Anna reacting to you. I mean, even subconsciously. She was not reacted to no one when she go out of her body, I guess. And she was hot as hell. So she was reacting only to your voice, nothing else. And she remembered only your voice and not us. So they were playing one of my movies to her, trying to revive her when she was out of her body, apparently. And she reacted to it somehow. I think you have some power over her. I mean, in a good way, because you don't harm her or anything like this. She is naive. Naive, my God, as a child. At one hand, she is very smart and tough at her secret job. But from other hand, absolutely naive, cute girl, you know? That is interesting. I reading her Bible every day. She asked me, and 400 monks sitting behind her and listening and catching every my word. I translated for them same time. I am looking at them and I see admiration to her. If she wanted build an army, they would stay with her. I see it in them. But she said that they only wanted to know about God and God's word. And she too. Interesting. So I must say it is strange. 4 strangers from different countries and cultures come together at one point in time, and all connected with her, and all 4 have no love and personal life in their lives, and all 3 males loved forth one. Each one of us knew absolutely different side of her. I knew her as a special agent, P as loving and caring, selfless for need in people. And you know how you knew her. What is that story all about? I am not sure, but I think all is strongly and strangely connected. Jones. Kunpi, October 14th, 2019. Master Richard Ka, good morning. We have very interesting conversation with Jones last night. I never thought woman build so complicated, but very interesting. I was translating your message to my master, and he smiled a lot while I was translating. Miss was on a kitchen and Jones trying to make her eat breakfast, but she was not paying attention and was excited to hear your voice about her events again. Jones trying to keep himself calm, but don't be rude as before. I saw his eyes yesterday, Master Richard. I saw how he looked at her. I saw deep sadness and care in his eyes, but he don't said anything personal to Miss, except for her bra, and he show me how to open it and close. It is very difficult, very strange for women to wear it. It looks uncomfortable. But anyway, my master started spirit with you, and we hear people coming to monastery. My master stopped. We go to gates. Miss suddenly hides behind door we opened. There were people from villages nearby. They bring food, offerings, and many flowers. And I saw this ex-monk who attacked Miss twice and bring a child. He was still sitting outside near gates. His face was burned by sun now, and he was looking very tired. People start screaming and demanding to see a woman who can heal. Master was looking at them. There were same two women who was with a child. They screamed, "Thank you, thank you." People were insisting to unknown woman in a temple in a long white dress, heal them too. I looked at Miss, and she was staying behind the door. She was nervous. I come to her and take her hand. She looked at me and asked, "What do they want, P?" And I translated her all what they said. She was nervous and clearly upset. Master looked at her and said, "This not place for any women. This is sacred place for man's hearts only. Go home now. We will not take your offerings." But these two women start screaming, "That is a lie, that is a lie. We saw a white woman in a long dress who healed our child." All people looked at Master now. He was not sure what to say. And people start speaking between themselves. Maybe they want to keep her only for themselves. Maybe old monk wanted to live forever and wanted healings only for him. What woman doing among men? They surely using her who wanted. How? They surely lay down with her who wants. How? People start those talkings, and I translated it to Miss, unfortunately. And Miss was scared by these words. She closed her mouth, and I saw tears in her eyes. She was deeply shocked by it. But people continue speaking, louder and louder, and they said, "This woman, surely a witch, who gave power to give life to a child, should be dead. This white witch lay down with all of them. Master surely wanted her for himself. He stay alive forever." But they was talking more rudely. All monks heard it. All was shocked and angry, but said nothing. Miss was crying. She closed her mouth, because she still sick and can coughing any moment. I looked behind the gates. People started to be angry. They demanded give them white woman. They wanted healings too. My master said, "Here no place for no woman. You know that." But this two women screamed, "That is lie. We saw her. We saw." Someone take a stone and throw at my master. But this ex-monk, who was sitting outside for a few days, jumped in front of master, and stone hit his head. Everyone stopped talking. Monks stand behind my master. This ex-monk who attacked Miss and said I was one who bring a child here. So the ex-monk who was waiting outside the gates, he said, "I was the one who bring a child here. I was one who was inside with child. I saw a miracle. A miracle was done by God, not by witch and not by woman. It was God only who made a miracle." But this two women start screaming, "We saw her, white woman in white dress. We saw her, we saw her." But ex-monk said, "Your eyes lied to you. It was God and God alone who acted to save this child." His head start bleeding, and blood comes to his face. Ex-monk said, "Why no women allowed here?" People start saying because women weak and can be witches. People were unsure now. But ex-monk said, "Here place for God, and God alone, and only men hearts can receive God and God's ways. Go home now. Here no place for miracles." And people were deeply breathing and were upset and started walking away. Master was quiet. He made step back and doors were closing. Ex-monk was staying outside, no one talking to him. He was sad. Suddenly, when gates' wooden doors were almost closed, Miss jumped outside for a split second. She grabbed this ex-monk and pulled him back. They both fell down to the floor, and the gates were closed with a big, heavy sound. We were not expecting that. Miss turned around and sit on ex-monk while he was laying down. Miss was dressed in Japanese kimono, dark blue, with red peonies flowers on it. She was dressed like this on early mornings when she liked to have her coffee. She was sitting on him, and she touched his face with blood from a stone someone threw at him. She looked at him. All monks were near to hit him if necessary. Miss put her hand to her hip and started to open her kimono. Ex-monk was looking at her in shock and disbelief. We all was unsure what Miss doing. She put her hand down under her simple kimono, near her hip, and she take out long, thin knife. I looked at Jones, and he smiled. She take this knife and lay close to ex-monk body. Monk expresses fear on his face. And she suddenly cut his clothes and tore off his clothes from his chest. She said, "No, this clothes no good for that place." She tore off all his clothes and again on him as a horse. She looked at his face very close and asked, "Why are you here?" But he don't understand her. Jones translates. He said, "I am here because I want Jeurua to tell me about God." Jones translated. She shake her head. She looked at him and asked, "What is his name?" Jones translate. He said, "Tong." So this is the monk Tong who had attacked Ada previously, and then she just brought him in. She smiled and said, "Yes, you will be my tongue. It is sound the same." She was looking very seriously and closely at his face, and Tong was embarrassed that woman sitting on him being naked. She said, "If you would choose to stay near me, you would suffer. You know that." Jones translated. Tong said, "I am not afraid." She said, "If you would choose to stay near me, I would ask you to kill and to save. Would you do it?" Jones translated, but he raised his eyebrows. Tong said, "Without any thought, I do what you would ordered." She takes her long thin blade and put it in his hand and put her hands around it. Miss said, "Your first shot was good. It should kill me quickly and painlessly. Right to the heart. Show me." Jones translated, but he added, "Don't you fucking dare," and many unpleasant words. Tong looked at Miss' face, and she was serious. He put his finger between her breasts. There was here heart. She smiled and said, "Good. It quick and most humane death. Please don't strangle me no more. It is very painful. Do it quickly and do it strong." Jones translated, but he was worried where this conversation was going. She stand up and give him hand to stand up. Tong was one of the biggest and strongest on others. He was much higher than Miss. He stayed naked in front of her and still keep her blade on his hand. She said, "Tong, you would stay close to me and you would learn. And when time will be right, use my blade to kill and to save. But do it quick and do it for sure. Stay now close to me." Jones translated, and Tong smiled with such happiness in his eyes. He said, "I would." Miss was quiet. He bowed to her, but she said, "No, don't do it. I am no one. You come to know word of God, and you would. But for what you did, I would ask you pay heavy price when time is right." Jones translated, and he had so many questions. Tong smiled and left to go with others. Jones come to Miss, and he take her shoulders and shake her a bit. He said, "What in a fuck are you doing? He tried to kill you." She said, "Yes, he tried." Miss decided not to speak to Jones, and she go change her clothes, and later she go to Master. My master later comes to Jones and tell him that he must shave his head and his eyebrows, because it is tradition if men come to sacred monastery. Jones accepted, and Master did it himself and give him white robe. Jones liked it. It is comfortable. Later, Miss sit outside, and all monks sit behind her. Tong sit very close to her. Shaved Jones start to read Bible, and I was translating, so Agent Mr. Jones is a Christian. Shaved Jones start to read the Bible, and I was translating, and sometimes Jones helped me too. My master was sitting also and listening. Kunpi. Next email. P. 10/16/2019. Oh, Master Richard Ka, I don't know why Miss decided to grab Monk Tong inside. He was outside for a long time, and sun badly burned his face. But he said he wanted to learn God. Miss give him her very beautiful blade, and she said he must to kill and to save. I do not understand whom. I think Miss not mean herself, maybe someone else, but to kill and to save, it is mystery for me. Master was staying in front of closed gates. Miss come to him, and she take his hand and kissed it, and my master smiled. They stayed together looking at closed gates. In 15 or 20 minutes, monks came on a wall and said that cars coming. Jones said, cars? We go to them. Master ordered open gates, and then 5 black, big, expensive SUV drive inside monastery. Jones was worried. He said, look at numbers, P. It is government cars. And I pay attention. It was green tags. Miss and Master stayed where they were. Drivers come out, and they were dressed in robes. Drivers start open doors, and many unknown monks came out. But they were looking really good in their expensive robes, and they were looking snobbish. They stand near one car, and driver opened door to that car, and one monk comes out. He was highest master, I can tell. His robe was so beautiful, and it was dark red. He had lot of gold on him. This highest master come out, and all his monks bowed to him, and my master lay down on the floor, and all our monks immediately lay down. I pushed Jones to he lay down, and he did, and he asked me, what is going on? I said, I am really not sure. This drivers bring a beautiful chair for his honor. He come close to our miss and looked at her closely. She was the only one who was standing. All were on the floor. Miss dogs start barking at him. It is the first time I heard Miss dogs can bark. Drivers immediately start catching dogs, and they did and kept them in their arms. Miss was not moving or talking. She was looking at this highest master. He grabbed her face and moved it left and right, and I saw Monk Tong slowly crawls to be closer to Miss. This man rudely said, what is my eyes see here? A woman, so it was not rumors. And he opened Miss' dress and looked at her. He put his hand on her belly and then on her heart, and he was surprised by something, I think. Miss was not moving, but she looking at him. He sit on his beautiful chair, and driver monk put him little chair for his feet. He said, I see at least she not seduced you all, for now. Speak now, how dare you bring that into the holy place? Miss was closing buttons on her dress. She was quiet. My master started to talk from the floor. He said, we find her injured. She was dying, master. My only fault in it. But this highest master stopped him and said, yes, and you would be whipped for it. Miss was only one who was standing. This high master looked at her from his chair and said, how dare you be here, dirty vessel? Miss was quiet, and Jones stand up and come to her. He translated to Miss. Highest master squeamishly raised his hand and said, kneel. Jones looked at monks who come with him, and he lay down near Miss' legs. This highest master looked at Miss and said again, "Kneel." Jones translated to her and said, "Anna, lay down. He not joking." Miss was staying upright and not moving. Highest master said, "10 lashes by whip." Immediately one monk comes to Miss, and he had long, leather, thin whip. Jones said, "Anna, lay down." She was standing. This monk with whip looked at his master, and he squeamishly give sign, and monk hit with a whip. But Monk Tong stand up, and whip hit his back. He screamed. Miss breathed deeply and was not moving. His monks run to Monk Tong to move him. But this highest master stopped them with a sign. He said if he wanted to get punishment for her, let it be. And more, 9 times he whipped Monk Tong. Every time he screamed, and he was standing behind Miss' back, and she was quiet and not moving. I saw she clenched her fists only. Monk Tong lay down to floor in huge pain. High Master looked at her. He said, "What is she doing here?" My master said from the floor, "We found her injured." But High Master stopped him and asked, "Is it true, rumors, she heal a child?" My master was quiet. High Master said, 50 whip to you for your silence." And same man with whip tong now come to my master. Miss turned her head to his direction. This man raised his whip, and Miss jumped and covered master's back with her body. She had a whip, and she screamed. All monks start standing up. All were extremely unsure. High Master give order for more. And he raised his hand to whip her back again, and he did. Miss screamed. I stand up. I saw Miss' dress had 2 long cuts on the back from whipping. Jones jumped on that man, and they both fell down. Jones was biting his face now. His monks quickly stopped Jones and keep him locked. Highest Master gives sign to bring Jones to him. They did. He looked at Jones' face and grabbed it. He said, "You look like monk and dress like monk, but you not Thai. Who are you?" Miss stand up and slowly come to Monk Tong. She sit on her knees, and she tried to calm his pain, I think. I don't know. I saw she grabbed his hand, and then she stand up again and was looking again, quietly, at Highest Master. All our monks were standing now. Jones looked at her, and he was not sure. Something he suspected about Miss. But this Highest Master grabbed Jones' face again and turned to himself and asked, "Are you Thai?" Jones said yes. Highest Master say, "Lying. Translate this. Dirty thing. Ask her if she truly can heal." Jones translated, but there was something he don't like in Miss. He also said, "Anna speak. He not joking. They not joking, Anna." But she was not moving her head and was looking down. Highest Master give hand sign, and they open the door of the car and bring out one old man who I think was homeless man, and he could barely walk, and one young child boy who was extremely thin and sick. Both were scared. Monk put them on their knees in front of Miss. Highest Master said, "Heal them now." Miss raised her hand and touched head and face of old man, and then she touched young boy. And take off her hand and stand quietly again. This Highest Master said, "Is she deaf or an idiot? Translate to it. Tell her I wish to see her healing in process." My master tried to say something from the floor, but he stopped him. He gave order Jones to translate. Jones added, "Ada, what are you doing?" She was not moving. Highest Master starts screaming many bad things, and one was that old master definitely lost his mind and he needed to be taken away from that place and replaced him with someone else. And suddenly Miss jumped at Highest Master and she raised her arm, and it was her blade there. I think she take it from Tong when she tries to care for him, I thought, but she was quietly taking her blade back. And she stabbed with full force High Master's hand right to the chair. Right through his palm the blade go deep into the wood of the chair. Highest Master screamed. Jones laughed first and screamed, "Good shot, crazy girl." Our monks start running towards them. All monks start running to Miss, and we stopped in a meter from each other. No one gives orders. Miss comes to Master and help him stand up. Master was scared by what happened. Highest Master was in pain and trying to take out Miss' blade, what nailed his palm to the wooden chair. Miss looked at my master, and she kissed his hand. Master smiled a bit and put his hand to her back, and his hand was bloody. Miss wearing black dress, and no blood was seen because of its color. Her 2 whippings were bleeding. One monk was working on taking out Miss' thin blade from palm of his master. He did it and threw the knife to the floor. I saw they taking Jones to the car. I screamed, "Jones!" and Miss looked at his direction. Highest Master screamed, "You listen, witch. In 3 days I would come back and look if you can heal. If not, your foreigner translator will be punished." I come to Miss and translated it to her, and again she was quiet. She said nothing at all this time. I looked at Jones, and they were putting him in the SUV, and he looked at me and smiled and winked at me. They put him into the car. Highest Master sit in a car. All his monks sit in cars, and they drove away. And Miss dropped on the floor. She was in big pain. Master asked take her and Tong into temple to treat their wounds. And we stayed outside, and this old homeless man was, and sick boy. Both were scared and not understanding what was happening at all. Master Richard, Miss Anna said no word, nothing at all. They take Jones with them. I am sad now. They whipped Tong and Miss, and for what? For her to heal? I am very upset now. Kunpi.